right, you degenerates. Ready to dive into some seriously unexpected shit today.
Hit me with it.
National anthem.
National anthems.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Snooze Fest City. But trust me, this one's a real mindfuck. We're talking Majulah Singapura, the anthem of Singapore.
See?
This little ditty's got a backstory wilder than a Bangkok brothel. Seriously.
It's definitely not your grandma's anthem.
All right, let's cut the crap. What the hell is the deal with this Majulah Singapura? Where did it even come from?
Picture this. 1958. Singapore is kicking off its independence gig from the UK. Everyone's fired up, and the city council needs a theme song for their events.
Okay.
Enter Zubir Said, this film composer dude. He was like the Hans Zimmer of Southeast Asia.
Is you telling me the national anthem started as some lame-ass city council jingle?
Pretty much. Zubir Said whips up this catchy tune, calls it Majulah Singapura.
Which means?
Onward Singapore in Malay. Boom, instant city anthem.
So every city council needs a theme song. I get it. But how the hell did this thing become a national anthem?
Fast forward to 1959, Singapore scores self-government. They need a national anthem, and they need it fast.
So they just decided to recycle the old one.
Why not? Majulah Singapura was already a banger. Everyone loved it. It embodied that whole fight for freedom.
Makes sense.
Zubir Said gave the lyrics and melody a little facelift, to fit its new, more serious gig.
So like a death metal band covering a Britney Spears song?
Yeah, something like that. But get this, there was actually a whole debate about switching the language of the anthem.
Seriously?
Some people wanted to ditch the Malay and go full English or Mandarin, be more inclusive and all that jazz.
Wait, seriously? They wanted to dump the original Malay lyrics? What a load of bullshit.
It was a real shitstorm.
What were they thinking?
They argued people weren't feeling it because they couldn't understand the words.
What a bunch of pussies. You don't need a dictionary to get hyped up by a song.
Tell me about it.
It's about the feeling, Mandy. The raw energy.
You got it. Anyway, the Prime Minister was like, nah, we're sticking with Malay. But to appease the crybabies, he made sure translations were available for anyone who wanted to dissect every damn word.
Smart move. Keep the purists happy and throw a bone to the whiners.
Nah.
So what about these translations? Are they any good or just straight up butchering the vibe?
They're pretty straightforward, just trying to capture the essence of the Malay lyrics.
But you know what they say about things getting lost in translation?
It's like explaining a dick joke to your grandma.
Yeah, you can't just swap words and expect the same punch. So what do these other versions sound like? Give us the lowdown.
The English one goes something like, we the people of Singapore together march towards happiness. Pretty standard inspirational stuff.
Okay, not bad. At least it rhymes. What about the Mandarin version? Do they spice things up a bit?
The Mandarin one's more of a word-for-word thing. It's basically, come people of Singapore, let us advance together towards happiness.
Bit stiff, but I get the point. And the Tamil one, what's that like?
The Tamil one gets a bit poetic. It talks about Singapore's victory being the best for the country.
Interesting. So they all have their own flavor, but ultimately they're all about unity, progress, and happiness, right?
That's the gist. It's cool that they offer these translations so people can connect with the anthem on different levels.
Yeah, I dig that. But let's be real. Most people probably just remember the chorus. Majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura. It's like that earworm that never leaves your brain.
You got that right. It's a simple, catchy chorus that sticks with you. And it perfectly embodies that striving for something better vibe.
Speaking of striving for something better, let's talk about the music itself. This Zubir Said dude, he was a film composer, right? Was the anthem his only claim to fame?
Hell no. This guy was a musical maestro. He wrote tons of scores for films and stage productions. He was like the John Williams of Singapore, churning out hits left and right.
Okay, so we're talking about a legit composer, not some one-hit wonder. What kind of music did he cook up?
He was all over the map. Traditional Malay music orchestral pieces, even messed around with Western styles like jazz. A real musical chameleon.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Did any of that musical mojo find its way into the anthem?
Totally. If you listen closely, you can hear hints of those traditional Malay melodies woven into the composition. It's subtle, but it's there.
Really? I wouldn't know that from my tin ears. You need a trained ear to pick up those nuances, I guess.
It's true. There's more to it than meets the eye, or ear in this case. And that's what makes Majulah Singapura so unique. It's a fusion of East and West tradition and modernity all rolled into one.
That sounds like a pretty damn good reflection of Singapore itself, wouldn't you say?
Bang on. And that's why it's resonated with people for so long. It's more than just a song. It's a sonic snapshot of a nation's soul.
Damn, that's getting deep, man.
Yeah.
But you're right. Music has this weird power to connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
It's a universal language, right? It can transcend any bullshit and evoke some powerful emotions.
And sometimes it can even piss people off.
True. Remember that time they let that rocker dude Ramli Sarip belt out the anthem at the National Day Parade?
Yeah.
That was a prime example of how music can stir some serious shit, both good and bad.
Oh, yeah. That was a wild one. Some people loved it. Others wanted to crucify him for messing with their precious anthem.
Yeah, that's wild. But it's good that people care enough about their anthem to get riled up. It means it still packs a punch.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Majulah Singapura such a fascinating case study. It's a reminder that anthems are living, breathing things. They evolve and change with the times, they spark debate and discussion, and they're definitely not just some dusty old tunes gathering cobwebs in a museum.
Damn straight. They're a reflection of who we are, where we came from, and where the hell we're going.
Exactly.
All right, folks, we're going to have to cut it there for now. But don't worry, we'll be back with part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the twisted world of Majulah Singapura. You're not getting off this crazy train just yet. We were talking about those translations, right? You'd think with all the fuss about sticking to the Malay lyrics, everyone in Singapore would be fluent in the damn language.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
But turns out that's a load of bullshit.
Seriously.
A lot of Singaporeans don't even understand what the hell they're singing.
Get out of here.
It's true. Back in the 90s, this whole debate about changing the language blew up again.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Not like way back when everything was still up in the air.
Nope. 1991, baby. Some community leaders went straight to the Prime Minister, Goh Chok Tong, and basically said, hey, this Malay thing isn't working. Let's switch it up to Mandarin or English.
Seriously. They went to the PM with that crap. What a bunch of pussies.
It got pretty heated. They claimed people didn't have strong feelings for the anthem because they couldn't understand the words.
What a bunch of pansies.
They were basically saying, if we can't understand it, how can we feel it?
It's about the feeling, the vibe. You don't need to understand every word to get fired up by a song.
Exactly. But the Prime Minister shut that shit down hard. He was like, nah, we're keeping it in Malay.
Good for him.
But he did make sure those translations were available, for anyone who wanted to know what they were mumbling along to.
Smart move. Keep the traditionalists happy and throw the doubters a bone. So what about these translations? Are they any good or just a total buzzkill?
They're pretty straightforward, just trying to capture the meaning of the Malay lyrics.
But there's always going to be some nuance lost in translation, right?
It's like trying to explain a dirty joke to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, some things just don't translate. So what do these other versions actually say? Hit me with the highlights.
Well, the English one is all like, we the people of Singapore together march towards happiness. Standard inspirational stuff.
Okay, not bad. At least it rhymes. What about the Mandarin version? Did they make it a bit more badass?
The Mandarin one is a bit more literal. It's basically saying, come people of Singapore, let us advance together towards happiness.
A little stiff, but I get the gist. And the Tamil version, what's that one like?
The Tamil translation gets a bit poetic. It's all about how Singapore's victory is the best thing for the country.
Interesting. So they each have their own vibe, but ultimately they're all about unity, progress, and happiness, right?
Pretty much. And it's pretty cool that they offer these translations so people can connect with the anthem on a deeper level, even if they don't speak Malay.
Yeah, I could dig that. But let's be real, most people probably only remember the chorus. Majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura. It's like that catchy hook that gets stuck in your head forever.
You got that right. It's powerful, simple, and easy to remember. It really captures that whole striving for something better mentality.
Speaking of striving for something better, let's talk about the music itself.
Yeah.
This Zubir Said guy, he was a film composer, right? Was the anthem his only masterpiece?
Hell no. This guy was a musical genius. He composed tons of scores for films and stage productions. He was like the John Williams of Singapore, churning out hits left and right.
So we're talking about a real deal composer, not some one-hit wonder. What kind of music did he make?
He was all over the place. Traditional Malay music orchestral pieces, even experimented with Western styles like jazz. A true musical innovator.
Damn, that's impressive. I wonder if any of that musical magic made its way into the anthem.
Totally. If you listen closely, you can hear hints of those traditional Malay melodies woven into the composition. It's subtle, but it's there.
Really? I'd never pick up on that.
Yeah.
You need a damn good ear to hear that kind of stuff.
It's true. There's a lot going on beneath the surface, and that's what makes Majulah Singapura so unique. It's this blend of East and West tradition and modernity all mashed together.
Sounds like a pretty damn good representation of Singapore itself, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And that's why it's resonated with people for so long. It's more than just a song. It's a musical representation of a nation's soul.
Damn, we're getting deep again. But you're right. Music has this crazy power to connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
It's a universal language, right? It can transcend all the bullshit and bring people together.
And sometimes it can really piss them off, too.
True that. Remember that time they let Ramli Sarip, that rock star dude, sing the anthem at the National Day Parade? That was a perfect example of how music can stir up some serious shit.
Oh, yeah. That was a wild one.
It was controversial, to say the least.
Some people loved it. Others thought he was spitting on their heritage.
It was a bold move for sure, but it definitely got people talking about the anthem in a whole new way.
Yeah. It's good that people care enough about their anthem to get riled up. It shows that it still means something to them.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Majulah Singapura such a fascinating case study. It reminds us that anthems aren't just some stuffy old tunes gathering dust. They're living, breathing things that evolve and change with the times.
They're a reflection of who we are, where we came from, and where the hell we're going, right?
Precisely.
Welcome back, you magnificent bastards. We're still knee-deep in this unexpectedly fascinating shit about Majulah Singapura.
There's more to this anthem than meets the eye.
Seriously.
Trust me.
All right, hit me with it. What else have we got?
Well, we've covered the lyrics, the music, the translations,
Right.
but we haven't even touched on the visual aspect.
Visual aspect. What are we talking about here? Music videos and shit.
Not quite music videos,
Okay.
but you're on the right track. Remember how we talked about the anthem's origin?
The City Council theme song.
Right, well, get this. The phrase Majulah Singapura was actually featured on the City Council's coat of arms.
No shit. Like their official logo.
Exactly.
That's pretty damn cool. So they were rocking the anthem slogan before it was even a song.
You got it. They were way ahead of their time. And get this. The coat of arms was displayed in the Victoria Theatre,
The Victoria Theatre.
a grand old building where the anthem was first performed.
Wait, so the anthem's debut was in the same building where its slogan was already hanging out.
That's some seriously poetic shit.
It's like destiny, man. And that Victoria Theatre, it's still standing today.
No way.
Yeah. Imagine walking through those halls knowing that's where Majulah Singapura first came to life. Gives me chills just thinking about it. So this anthem has roots that go deeper than just a song. It's intertwined with the history of Singapore itself.
Precisely. It's a reminder that symbols and slogans don't just appear out of thin air.
Yeah.
They evolve, they take on new meanings, they become part of the fabric of a nation.
Okay, that's deep. But let's get back to the visuals. Besides the coat of arms, how else is the anthem represented visually?
We gotta think about the performances.
Performances.
The National Day parades, the school assemblies, the sporting events.
Right, all those flag-waving, heart-swelling moments.
Exactly. The imagery associated with those events. The sea of red and white, the proud, faces the sense of unity that's all part of the anthem's visual identity.
You're right, I hadn't thought of it that way. It's not just about the sound, it's about the whole experience. The visuals definitely enhance the emotional impact.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the symbolism. The lyrics themselves paint a vivid picture.
Okay.
Together march towards happiness, unite in a new spirit. Those words evoke images of progress, solidarity, and hope.
It's like a call to action, man. A reminder of what it means to be Singaporean.
And those images are powerful. They stick with you long after the music fades.
I bet. It's like those iconic war movie scenes set to soaring music. You know, the ones that make you want to charge into battle.
Exactly. Majulah Singapura might not be about war, but it has that same power to inspire and motivate.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From city council jingles to national symbols, from language debates to rock star renditions.
It's been a wild ride.
It has.
It's amazing how much depth there is to something that most people take for granted.
Totally. And it makes you wonder how many other anthems out there have these crazy backstories.
I bet every anthem has its own unique story to tell. A reflection of a nation's history, its struggles, its triumphs.
So what's the takeaway here? What do you want our listeners to remember about Majulah Singapura?
I think the biggest takeaway is that it's more than just a song.
Right.
It's a symbol of a nation's identity, a reminder of its values, and a testament to the power of music to unite and inspire.
Well said. And I think the second takeaway is that even those seemingly boring topics can be fascinating if you dig deep enough.
Truth. There's always something unexpected to discover.
All right, you magnificent bastards. That's it for our deep dive into Majulah Singapura. We hope you learned some shit, had some laughs, and maybe even felt a little bit patriotic. And if you're ever in Singapore, make sure you check out that Victoria Theater where it all began.
And next time you hear your own national anthem, take a moment to think about its history. You might be surprised by what you find.
That's all for the deep dive. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay fucking awesome.